Researchers. Convictions of something. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Are we waiting on one more, Kelly, by the way? Good morning, everybody. Okay. Thank you. I'd like to call to order the Town of Ocean Ridge Planning and Zoning meeting, July 21, 2026. Roll call, please. Coming through the echoing through here. Okay. Roll call, please, Kelly.
Chair Ferber,
Here.
Vice Chair Khalil, Member Kerala,
Here.
Member Sutherland.
Thank you. Pledge allegiance. The flag. States of America. To the republic. One nation. Under God. Indivisible. With justice for all. Gentlemen, any additions, deletions, modifications? I'd like to just add two things. One, Kelly would like to make a statement relative to the 30 Ocean View application.
So I don't know if anybody is here for the 30 Ocean View that was noticed a couple weeks ago, but if you are, it will not be heard today. It is going to be heard at a special meeting in August. We're looking at August 19th. We can't have it on the 18th because the 18th is election day. So we are going to have it on Wednesday, the 19th, if possible. So I just wanted to make that announcement.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Also, a very special day, longtime resident Betty Bingham, who's her birthday today. Her son's in attendance here as well. Pierce, and he and I and another member in the back there, we all went to school together 100 years ago. Feels like now, right? But but Betty, you've been a long time, of course, resident here. You've been a huge supporter of the town, and there's so much that everyone should appreciate all the great effort that you put in. So just like to Round of applause for Betty Bingham, our birthday. Yeah. And there'll be some coffee and donuts outside that if you want to have them now, as the meeting goes on, you don't want to listen to us ramble along up here, you can go do that or afterwards as well. Public comment.
Terry Brown, Harbor Drive South. I just wanted to congratulate the folks that were reappointed recently, which I noticed one is not here. But you have 3 more years of service unless you're bumped off by the commission on a majority vote according to the code. Usually that doesn't happen unless there's an election change. And we have an election change coming up in March. So you got to get there. But you're doing a good job, and we do all appreciate it. And on item number 3, would you ask for public comment before you folks discuss it, or how are you going to handle that?
Well,
I don't remember the sequence of when you ask for public comments.
We can discuss it or ask for public comment at the beginning. I think we're better off to ask for public comment beforehand. What do you think, Ken? Yeah.
You can do it right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do it right now if you like, yes.
Well, no, I don't want to mess up my time.
Like,
Thank you, Terry. Any other public comment? You can if you'd like. That's what he just said. You can if you like. You have your time limit.
This,
Yes, we'll provide, Fritz, we'll provide an opportunity.
this public comment is for anything that is not on the agenda.
Seeing no more public comment, we'll close public comment. Adoption of the minutes of the
move to adopt.
okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, great. So I wasn't here the last meeting, but I guess we're bringing up again the quasi judicial hearing for the development plan review at 5920 North Ocean Boulevard. At this time, any ex parte communication shall either be disclosed by identifying the subject of the communication and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place, or any correspondence be provided to the town clerk and made part of the public record. In addition, each member of the commission may identify the existence of any investigations or site visits he or she has conducted, or any expert opinions received, and disclose any conflicts of interest on this matter.
None, Mr. Chairman.
None on my end as well. Okay. With that said, let's start the process here. Kelly, would you please swear in all those who wish to give testimony today?
Okay. Will anyone wishing to speak on this item, please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? When you are called forward, please state your name and address clearly for the record and whether or not you have been sworn in, and please speak directly into the microphone.
Thank you very much. Corey, town planner.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, board members, Corey O'Gorman, Town Planner. This is developed plan review for the home for the renovated home at 5920 North Ocean Boulevard. Planning and Zoning Board originally saw this back in 2024. The project was approved and unfortunately, a building permit wasn't issued within the time frame allotted, so the approval lapsed. You also saw this at your April 21st meeting this year. And after a presentation by the applicant and board discussion, the board deferred the request so that the same plans that were submitted for building permit could be considered by the board. Those came back to you at your meeting on May 19th. There were several issues that were outlined in the staff report that have since been corrected in the version that is before you this morning. The revised plans have addressed the window and door opening percentage, the substantial articulation requirements. The zoning official has reviewed and confirmed that the FAR complies with the town code for both the total FAR as well as the second floor to first floor. The mechanical equipment has been relocated and to comply. And the parking garage has been dimensioned appropriately. Regarding the roof design has changed from a flat roof to a hip roof. The hip roof includes a decorative balustrade along with a roof pediment over the main entry. And although the code doesn't permit a parapet in conjunction with a pitched roof, the code does provide for architectural features. It doesn't define architectural features explicitly. And the balustrade could be considered an architectural feature that could be permitted under the code. The recommendation from the town staff is for approval, subject to the board's consideration of the decorative balustrade and consideration under development plan review, as well as a condition that's noted in the report regarding a non-conforming wall that is in the front setback. That concludes the staff presentation. I know the applicant has a very detailed presentation that's included in your packet that I'm sure can answer any other questions you have, but we're certainly here to try to answer any questions and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Corey, thank you very much. Town engineer, Orlando, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
So the revised plans were submitted by the permittee's new civil engineer. They modified their dry retention area and converted to an exfiltration trench system, which still meets the town codes. So basically, we recommend approval with all previous conditions as before.
Okay, and then from your perspective, the site works from an engineering standpoint,
Yes,
drainage, et cetera.
right, yes.
Okay. Great, thank you. And as you said earlier, Corey, Manny has blessed this as well, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Great, thank you very much. Applicant, please.
Joseph Asir, 5920 North Ocean.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the committee. I think the town planner had kind of set out what has been happening on this for a while, so I don't want to go through all this. But this has been 3 years in the making. You know, we started this process July 2023, and here we are, July 2026, and nothing has really happened in terms of construction itself. This board approved this in 2024. And, you know, due to unfortunate circumstances, the state took a while to approve our septic permit. And we had some issues with our prior engineer with his sickness and all of that. And we could not meet the building permit deadline. This could have been resolved with an extension of the time for the building permit. But we again were asked to resubmit. We did that. We came back in April. And in April, the staff recommended approval, but the commission deferred it to May. And we came back in May, and then the town staff had some issues which we had to resolve, and we deferred it till July. And here we are, July 2026, 3 years. We understand that these processes have their own timeline. It takes time, but we want you to consider us as homeowners. This is our retirement savings. We are doing our best to comply with whatever the town rules are and whatever needs to be done. And the cost of construction has risen significantly since 2023 when we started to 2026. In 2023, the Florida average was $229 per square foot. Today, it's $240 per square foot. Transportation costs have gone up and all other related costs have gone up. So Ocean Ridge for us is a special place. It's a small, close-knit community of just 2,000 residents, and we chose to make our home here. We brought our 2 children, and this is our end of life project. You know, this is our retirement funds. We are doing our best to try to build a beautiful home and to make the community beautiful. And we seek the commission's permission to approve this without any conditions. As the town planner noted, there were two issues. One was with the balustrade. And our architect could speak on that issue if you want. We have our Marcello Penso with me here today. And the other issue was a non-conforming concrete fence in the front of the property, but that fence was, our position is that that fence was done with a permit. It was constructed, engineer Durrani came and inspected that several times. We had a survey company mark out the piles. We had a pile foundation engineer who did the piles. And so there were 3 levels of going through that. And it's kind of odd that we are dealing with this on an unrelated matter, but we would request the commission to approve this without any conditions. Thank you.
So
I'm Marcello.
I'm saying dress code has.
Yes, my name is Marcello Penso. I'm the architect for Joseph and Ellen is here. And my only comment is that decorative balustrades are common in neoclassical style architecture. And whether it's flat or hipped roof. And so our position is we wanted to include a decorative balustrade just to provide a nice cap to the front of the building, actually to the whole perimeter of the building. It gives it a nicer style. Plus, we have the balustrades on the second floor, so that the roof mimics that to a certain extent. And that was the general idea of having the decorative balustrades up at the top. And that's basically it.
Well, comment. So. Without the so you know, fully qualified like board. Question. If approved, since you do it person to you. When do you plan on?
As soon as possible. We hope to break ground in October if it's possible. No, it was inspected and built as per whatever it does, absolutely, yes, yes.
Oh, I think it's not on long enough.
Yeah. Motion to approve. Second,
Motion second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Just for clarification, is that with the staff recommended conditions or is it without any conditions?
If the wall has been permitted, is that is that a fact that the wall in question has been permitted?
My understanding is that the wall was permitted, but it was permitted behind the 25-foot setback. It wasn't constructed in the right location. And Kelly may be able to give some additional background, but my understanding is the permit was not closed out. It was inspected from a structural standpoint and a building standpoint, but it didn't meet the setback requirement. It's a 6-foot high wall that is in the front setback, which is required to be 4 feet. And that's the reason for the condition. No. In the prior approval in 2024, the condition was to reconstruct the wall in accordance with the town code. Yes. It was permitted. The town did approve the wall to be constructed. my understanding is though that it was approved um, behind the 25-foot setback. So a 6-foot wall is permittable behind the 25-foot setback, but in front of the 25-foot setback, it's required to be 4 feet.
So is there a code enforcement here or not? Is this a situation where they built something that was not lawfully built?
It was built lawfully, just in the wrong location. Right.
Okay. We approved that to be built. Application.
No,
So it's an unlawful structure because we did not approve that to be where it is.
that's my understanding. Yes, sir.
Is that?
Kelly, does that make sense?
So when we pulled the permit, they had submitted it where it's currently located. During review, it was noted by Durrani that it needed to be behind the setback. Durrani left mid this construction. And then Mr. Christopher inspected the final inspection. I do not know if he measured or not. I'm assuming not, being that it is in a spot where it's not where it was originally approved.
Could I say something?
Sure.
Yeah. Mr. Durrani was there. He came with his measuring wheel and measured it. And we had a survey company mark it out. And we had the foundation company insert the piles at the location where the survey company marked it out. And at that point, when we did the footer, 7 times after that, Durrani and Rob, I think the deputy engineer, were there and they inspected it. By the time it came around to the final inspection, the company had changed, he had left. So we had the other person come in and he also approved it. It's just that I don't know, it's,
It was finaled.
yeah.
I
it
just
was
don't
fine.
know
So-
whether it was measured to see if it was.
And there was at no point did anyone tell us about that setback, that it wasn't meeting the setback. Because we wanted to do the right thing. We went through the whole permitting process. We did what we had to do as homeowners. And, so we would ask you to let it stay. It's not affecting the neighborhood in any way. It goes with the general trend of the neighborhood, and the cost of removing a concrete fence of 6 feet and bringing it down to 4 feet is immense, added to the cost of the new construction and all of that.
I think we have the power to say when
Yeah.
it stays or goes.
No, right. Exactly, but my point is that this was permitted. We went through the process. It was inspected by the town engineer, and there should be some equitable estoppel in this.
Let me be clear about an estoppel argument. Nobody is authorized to violate a town code, whether it's through a building permit or otherwise. You can't argue estoppel if the result violates our code. And that's clear in case law. What it does is it creates a code enforcement issue, as Mr. Khalil's saying. The prior approval, as I understand it, that they received but didn't timely activate was to bring this into compliance so that the entire property is in compliance. And I think that's the condition that staff is asking for at this point, to bring it all into compliance. If planning and zoning doesn't want to approve that condition, then that still leaves an issue out there that staff will have to deal with one way or the other.
So
Which is, it's real quick, it's their issue to start out with. It's getting kind of thrown in our lap, but it's really not our issue, right?
Correct,
Yeah,
correct. Yes, you're,
It's a code enforcement issue.
and we can certainly address it through code enforcement should that be the town's decision to pursue that. It doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah,
It was closed out.
So,
Can you bring up the survey?
I think the site plan might show that. I think it maybe 2 feet or further than.
So did I hear that for that in order to have a 6-foot fence, it had to be 25 feet back? Okay, what is it now?
There's not a dimension, but it's diagonally.
You can see,
I'd say the worst case is 10 feet into the setback, judging by the drawing.
15 foot.
Yes, sir.
It's a 15 foot.
Is that a 15?
Sorry? Just, yeah. mention. So there's a 10-foot difference, not a foot. There's a big difference. Yes,
It narrows down.
Where it curves down.
So what is our, Chris, I think this is falling outside our province.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we can do that. They should, I think if there's an outstanding code violation, I don't think they could, any.
yeah, they can
Get
still.
satisfied.
And I don't think this is a substantial improvement. I think, is this a substantial improvement? Is that why? Or was because the exterior improvements?
I believe it was substantial.
It's substantial? Technically, with it being a substantial improvement, when they go for permits, the entire property needs to be brought up to code. So
Well,
they won't be
if
able
you
to
make
get,
that a-
Requirements.
It is, but since the issue's out there, I don't think it's in our province.
No.
It's just my personal thing.
I agree, It's not our responsibility. You want to amend your,
So. It's amended.
good?
Right, I will second again the amended one.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, just so we're straight. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Interesting. Well, today's gonna be easy, you said. Discussion on revisions, are discussion item number 3, discussion on revisions to the town's regulations, accessory uses, buildings and structures. Kelly, would you please swear in anyone who would like to talk about this?
since this is just a discussion, we don't have to swear everybody in.
We don't? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. Really, we're going to go through you, I guess, through this, right?
Yeah, so as you may recall, this was an issue that the town commission asked P and Z to look at, but I don't think much direction was provided to P and Z as to what specifically the town commission was looking for. And this is to potentially allow accessory structures like a gazebo or pergola to encroach into the side or rear setback. In the backup for the agenda item, we have provided some sample ordinances from other cities as examples of what they have done in this area in terms of allowing accessory structures to be encroaching into the setbacks. Currently, under the town's code, accessory structures must comply with the setbacks and cannot encroach. There are some exceptions, but it really doesn't address these accessory structures. So I think the town commission in its discussion at its most recent meeting wanted to provide some context in terms of especially folks who are on waterways wanting to have a pergola or gazebo in their rear yard. However, there's a 25-foot setback, and for some properties or for a lot of properties on the waterways, that really prohibits them from having any kind of accessory structure in their backyard, like a pergola or a gazebo, because it would encroach to the required 25-foot setback. So the town commission has asked for this commission to review the matter and sort of make a recommendation as to what they would see as potential changes. Obviously, it's within your purview to say no changes. As you've seen, there's some information that's been provided to this commission in terms of objections of having these types of accessory structures encroaching into the rear setback where it involves a water view.
Great, okay, thank you. So let's open up the public comment to start it out. Okay. And then we'll go to board comment.
Anyone else want to go before me? Yeah, Terry Brown, Hubbard I South. First of all, I live on the dry side of the street, not on the wet side where the canal is. But I picked this up today's newspaper. I know a lot of people in this town do not read the Farmers Post. Advertising.
Or too light, by the way. I find it too light. I just, not liberal.
Eighth grade reading.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Anyway, you can see that they're very popular in mostly the gated communities where they're outside the city jurisdictions, where they have big properties, large
Yes.
expanse. And the top one is all aluminum construction, and the bottom talks about the motorized shades and the motorized vents for ventilation. But the issue that I think that we have in this town is that, as Christy pointed out, it's too close along most of the neighborhoods that are on the canals for these things not to be intrusive, and we're not entitled to a view. I mean, there's no law that says you have to have a view. Condo next to you or building can be bigger than the one you're in and block your view. That's happened in this town. But nonetheless, I think that if we're looking at the quality of the town and the desirability of what we want for the town, I think this issue needs to be looked at very closely. And Christy pointed out some examples where they restrict the size and they restrict how far back it can go, provided it still qualifies for whatever setback requirement you're going to give it. So I don't have a dog in this race, as they say, but I'm concerned about encroaching into another area about other structures wanting to be built in that area, mostly along pool patios. Thank you.
Good morning. Christine DeHassa, 29 Sable Island Drive. I'll start by saying just a very blanket statement. I think we're solving for a problem that we do not have. And I'd really like to know, and I challenged the commission at the last meeting, what is the threshold for complaints or suggestions from residents to actually look at code and to revamp code? We're 1,900 households. Is it 5 households? Is it 10 households? So again, I'm on a landlocked like Terry. So if this is defined only for waterfront, I don't really have an issue myself, but I always say it's the law of unintended consequences and the precedent that it sets. I'll go further and say, usually, and there's an old rock and roll song, if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. So I already think it's egregious that we have pools and decks that are allowed to encroach in the setbacks and only 5 foot off a setback. That's absolutely absurd. I heard at commission someone say, oh, well, we allow hedges. If we allow hedges, we should allow everything. Well, hedges don't enjoy a cigar at sunset. Hedges don't play country music when you're a rock and roll fan. Hedges don't turn on lights when you're trying to get your children to bed across the canal. So I think that just kind of goes right out the window. The consideration is the devil's in the detail. And Terry mentioned it. Size, style, height, materials, lighting, ventilation, outdoor kitchens. You have the whole run of the gamut. I think privacy is key. They always say that hedges make good neighbors. I'll go one step further and say that setbacks make better neighbors. So thank you.
Betty Bingham, 1 East Ocean Avenue. Seems to me we've fought this battle before. And I think the decision has to be what you want the town to be. If you want it to remain a small, friendly, family town where children can have room to go outside and play on the yard. Because if you let one person encroach, you'll get more. It's a creeping paralysis. And pretty soon you'll have nothing except we have an appointment on the other side, high-rise apartment buildings. We had setbacks for a very good reason. We have rules and regulations for a very good reason. I think we ought to think hard and long before we change any of it. So,
Photo. Cindy Martell, 46 Harbor Drive South. I sent a letter as well to you all. Years ago, I had an issue with somebody that had a shed. And that was, in my view, it was not only that, it was noisy, it was in the setback. So I do, I live on the water and, just there's a picture and I really don't want this. I really don't think that anybody else would like this. I mean, I know you go to the Board of Variance and Adjustments and try to get a pergola. That's why we have that. But, I like my privacy. I like a hedge. I had to build a hedge. I had to plant a hedge to cover up the shed. So, I've lived here for 29 years. I don't want to go and look at the canal and look at all these structures. And then maintenance, who's going to maintain them? I mean, people are not even, pressure cleaning their roof and maintaining that. So, I really hope that you guys, bring it back to the commission, but I just don't think that we need to change this. So, that's my heart. Thank you. Thanks.
Brett Devitt, 18 Harbor Drive South. Good morning. So my research shows that the town has about 800 single-family homes, with approximately half being waterfront. 25-foot rear setback, which has been in place for a long time, protects the views of these homes, both across the canal and up and down the canals. Without this setback, or even a reduction in the setback, waterfront homes would be looking at gazebos, outdoor kitchens, cheekies, possibly who knows whatever else this will bring, which in turn means less landscape in the backyards for us to view. If these eyesores are allowed, they should count toward the floor area ratios, the open space requirements of the code, and not in addition to. I can't imagine that this proposal has much support from our residents. If this gains traction, then it really needs to be discussed and studied hard. Please report back to the town commission that no revisions to this code are recommended at this time.
Literally. Yeah, I mean. Doesn't take 5, it doesn't take 100. So, so it's issue. So, sorry, I don't think that's a proper way of doing it, because how can you prove a hardship for a pergola? Can't do it. So that's not a solution to the problem. So the issue is, what is the problem? is the problem that I saw the picture. Cindy sent blast email or whatever, I don't know, but with picture, and yeah, no one wants to see a line down the canal of gazebos and all that stuff, structures. That defeats the purpose of having a setback. I get it. But is there a mechanism to have a pergola for an outdoor cover? And I'm sorry for it, but people do want outdoor kitchens today. So there, that are modest, maybe. And so maybe we need to look at something that works. At one point in time, we had no setback for a patio. It went right to the patio, right to the property line. We moved it back 5 feet. And that was a hue and cry. Why are you doing that? So whatever you do, there's a hue and cry. So that's what I've discovered over 35 years of serving the town in some capacity. So what is the problem that we're having that we're seeking to resolve now? Is it the fact that people, want a little pergola in their back that you cannot get on any circumstance? So unless it's because it's 25 feet. So that's the issue we're here to resolve. So is it reasonable to have a modest pergola? I'm not a fan of the gazebos, quite frankly, but that's just personal. But if I go hire the Miccosukee tribe, I can do whatever I want. So this doesn't make sense. So we should do something that does make sense, that gives some freedom to the homeowner to allow something to go back there without them going off to the tribe, because I know some people in the town have done that and it's worse. So let's be honest about this and try to resolve something if we have that issue. So is the issue that it's within that 25 foot, beyond the 20 foot? Does a pergola count for as a structure within the building envelope?
It's currently
I
under
think
the
I know
code,
the
it's
answer to that,
treated
but
as an accessory use, and currently under the code, accessory structure, an accessory structure has to comply with the setback. There are some exceptions, but right now, if you want to put a pergola in your backyard and you're on the waterway, it's got to be 25-foot setback. Otherwise, you have to get a variance. And that does apply to the cheeky huts as well,
Okay.
because they have to comply with the zoning requirements. They don't have to get building permits, but they have to comply with zoning requirements. So you couldn't even have the tribe put a cheeky hut in your backyard if you don't have 25-foot available.
Okay. So, but it doesn't count towards the building envelope, right?
Correct.
So, so think about this, 25 feet, the pools can be 10 feet, right? 10 feet off,
5 feet.
5 feet. So I mean, that 25 feet is a big distance, especially with most of the homes here, in the backyard. So, does it warrant to have a 10 by 10 pergola for a cover that is open within the 15-foot setback? Does it make sense to do something like that? Does that really impact the view going up and down the canals? I live on the canal. Most of them are covered with hedges all the way up and down, so I couldn't see one way or the other. So most of them are like that. So your view is kind of like that regardless, unless you're at the end of the canal.
I think I see a difference between closed structures and open structures. I mean, you can go put umbrellas and block, right, and have hedges that are tall block. So I don't know if there's a line to be drawn between these open structures that don't obstruct people's views and anything with like a hard cover. Some of these, gazebos or pergolas, they have hard covers that close out, and I can see that being an issue.
Gazebo and pergola, I view are two different things. Would you agree?
I agree.
I mean, gazebo is a covered structure. I think that's completely different. And I agree that should be set back. But a pergola is an open structure. And you're right, it's a different kind of an umbrella. Right. I can get a huge umbrella. Now, today, you can get a pretty big umbrella that serves the same purpose. I can't believe the size of some of these things. So
It's I've seen something like these louvered curtains on
Sides.
closed in, and that is an issue. But an open, it's nothing more than maybe 3 or 4 6x6. So maybe that's the line that you draw where you still satisfy the view of neighbors without still allowing people to be able to sit outside.
Well, listen, I think one of the things we should consider too, our lots here are small, right? Guys, you look at the Palm Beach code, of course, they're allowing pergolas, but most of those lots are very large, right, for the most part. Our lots are small here. Majority of the lots on the canal, we live in these canals, and there's not a lot of room, to be honest with you. I mean, you could jam something back there if you want. I guess I could try to jam something back there, but it gets crowded because you're trying to, I think, I don't know, to your point, Ken, is this for existing homes or new homes? New homes, listen, people are jamming as much square footage on the home as possible, right? So to jam as much on there as possible and max out with a pergola as well, to me, it feels a little bit like overkill, right? Because that's what really is happening. Every application we see, and I get it, they're maximizing their lots, right? So I'm just wondering, our lot sizes are small, right? Our town has a lot of constraints in terms of its lot sizes already. And I'm not a big fan of having any of these structures inside that 25 feet. I mean, I get what you're saying, Vedi, in terms of, having something that's open and clean, but how do we patrol that? I mean, how do we define that? I don't know. 25 feet sounds like a lot, but it really isn't that much. 25 feet is here. It's not very far. It's the distance.
You'd be surprised.
No, I have to be up.
It's enough to block most people from having anything on their deck.
Yes.
Yeah, I go along with the side setbacks because I do agree there is a difference when you're on the side listening to music or smoking a cigar or whatever the excuse was, but I do agree with that. So I think that should be set back at least to meet the setback requirements, because that is a different element. The reason why we had the 5 foot before was more of a walkway. We couldn't do, if we limited that side setback without having any type of thing, we couldn't have a walkway. I think that was part of the rationale behind what we did. And a lot of the pools at that time were built towards that end.
Yes.
And that was a permitted use. So we finally found a compromise there. And I think it's worked out. We haven't had any complaints about that. But now you're talking about, with a pergola, you're bringing a social gathering, if you will. So that does create a potential nuisance to the neighbor. So that's a consideration. So I would go along with keeping the side setbacks on that, but I disagree on the rear. I think there's a little room to bend on that. And I think we could take a look at that, and maybe we're not going to resolve it today with that, because I'd like to see what a survey looks like and see how it impacts. And we've done it in the past. We've done samples and say, okay, what is the impact of what we do? And should it be limited to 100 square feet, a 10 by 10, or should it be limited in some capacity?
North Palm Beach here has a lot of limitations, right? Chris, you pulled this from their code.
Yeah, I saw
right?
some of these in the past.
They're really trying to figure this out, aren't they? Right? Or
Well,
have figured it out, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, people are, like you said before, people try to abuse it.
Yes.
And that's what we're guarding against. They try to basically build another structure, right, with the concept of a pergola. And that's what that's what I don't want to see. I want to see something that enhances a backyard, that provides some enjoyment without having an obstruction, without having a nuisance to the neighboring property owners at the same time. That's the whole purpose why we have building envelopes. That's the whole purpose of the setbacks. But there is some give and take with some of that. And like I said, I'm going to go back to, I'm not a fan of the variance method. I think that just in other communities that I've seen, that it just doesn't work. It's just not a good scene.
Corey, did we have an application at the end of Harbor Drive, north or south, where they wanted to do, or they have an existing pergola?
Not that I recall.
Okay, so I remember we had this discussion about something down there Is there an existing pergola there?
No, what happens, she actually constructed the pergola that torn down. It's their property.
Okay, okay, that
Yeah,
was
she
the
sought
thank you.
variance. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, okay. Did she get the variance?
I'm not sure.
Okay, right. She did not get the variance. Okay. Okay.
Speaking of pergolas, side note, did you see the patio out there? That was initially designed with a pergola. Terry and Betty might remember that. And we on the commission, didn't have any money, unlike the commission today that has lots of money to throw around. Just kidding. So we said, we're gonna hold off on doing that pergola. Maybe we ought to rethink that and maybe put that back. Huh? It's a great spot. And it was actually well-designed. Mark Marsh and Digby Bridges put it in. It would have gone really well. We just didn't have any money. I think at the time I want to say it was like 300 or 500. I can't remember, but we had to rethink that, Commissioner, bring that back up. And I think it's worthwhile. We always intended to do it, but we just didn't get around to it.
I like
Economic.
Ken's idea. I'd like to study this further myself, and bring it to the next meeting if we could. The September meeting, right? We're gonna have one off potentially in August.
So would you like to maybe see some like aerials showing the 25-foot setback with nothing in it, and then perhaps different variations of that of where it would encroach?
I'd like to also see if we could, thank you for again bringing the North Palm Beach. North Palm Beach is, they're a tale of two cities up there too, right? So
Right.
they're trying to restrict, but they want to, people love the waterfront up there, right? I get it. So I'd love to see kind of what they're doing a little bit. That'd be
Okay.
fantastic. And thank you for providing this because they have gone through great detail for what a pergola should be. And we can do our own investigation as well.
Okay.
Is that good with everyone?
Do we define, yeah, I agree. Do we define shed, by the way?
We have a exception in the code to allow for smaller sheds to encroach on the setback.
Okay.
And I think it's it
Like a
might
3,
be
4?
100 square foot limitation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you got some consensus up here about closed gazebos, closed things like that.
Yes.
It does have an impact. And I think what we're trying to figure out, if I read this, is, is there some wiggle room that we can provide some relief in that, not too close, but not too far, and provide some relief because it's going to happen one way or the other. So let's acknowledge that existence. It's going to happen whether it be a large umbrella. People are going to seek something. So
We should see what our neighbors want to do too, by the way. I mean, I don't know what Gulfstream's view of this is, right? We should understand that. I'm sure it's very restrictive if I had to guess.
Yeah, but they have a different scenario. I mean, they have their lot lines, everything's different. And most of our properties here are platted. They're planned, especially the McCormick Mile Group. And the South End, the Harbor Drive, and those were all planned out. So, to see how, and there's some restrictions in there built in about those setbacks, so.
Great, thank you. Thank you for everyone in the community, please, for sharing your thoughts as well. Discussion item number 4, revisions to the town's duration of construction due to state mandate on permit duration for single-family dwellings. This is going to make me crazy, Christie.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so,
When the legislation is in session, things happen.
yes,
Exactly. So.
this happened, right?
So this just happened.
Yeah.
Florida legislature decided now for all single-family dwelling building permits that they will have a duration of a minimum of 1 year and up to potentially a 3-year duration, because the max duration depends on when the next iteration of the Florida Building Code is issued. So right now, the Florida Building Code is expected to change to a new edition at the end of this year. So if you were to get a building permit right in January of 2027, your building permit for a single family dwelling could be open for 3 years. Currently, the way it works in the town is you're issued a building permit. It's, it's open for 6 months, assuming you're doing construction and getting inspections. It continues on. But the town has a local duration of construction that is currently a 1-year duration for regular single-family dwellings. And it's 2 years if you're a single-family residential estate, the larger parcels in town. The town commission has agreed to have the planning and zoning commission review this issue because this is in the town's land development code, the local duration for construction. And one of the comments from the town commission was that, certainly it seems 1 year for single family dwelling seems to be a little tight, but now we're preempted. So the question becomes, what do we want to do with our local duration for construction? Do we want to just carve out the preemption that we're now faced with and leave everything the same? Or as I've noted in the backup for this agenda item, there's some other considerations because right now, for example, we know the Ocean Club may be going through some construction, and right now technically they have 1 year to get it done. Because the 1 year limitation on construction is applicable to all other construction as well in the town. So that's something to think about. Should we completely remove our local duration of construction? These are all considerations.
The answer to that is, no.
No.
I haven't.
Let's do this real quick. Let's just see if there's any public comment related to this first, please. Open the floor to any public comment on this matter. Seeing none, let's close it. Okay, thank you.
So I haven't had a chance to look at this bill, but so it's interesting that the verbiage that they use is set to expire. And I question, there's a difference between expiration and termination. So is there anything that if we maintain, if they get a permit and they start construction, is there anything in the statute, which I haven't seen yet? Is there anything in this that prevents us from terminating a permit if they don't finish construction, if they don't, do what they're supposed to do? My concern is that if this is being used to extend construct, they do it a shell and it sits there for 3 years that we've been faced with on a couple occasions. That's what we're trying to avoid. So I think I would be trying to avoid it anyway. Things have extenuating circumstances. I understand that, but they can come and plead their case if they will. And usually the commission is very lenient, but is there a difference between expiration and termination that's set out?
Not that the way I read the new legislation is that they're now giving a set duration that your building permit will be active. And so if you have the opportunity to have a full 3 years duration for your permit remains open. Now, what I read as what the town can do is maintain what it currently has in terms of the construction handbook and requirements for, screening, maintaining the site and those types of things. But I don't read the new law to allow the town to say, well, if 6 months go by and there's no inspections, there's no work being done, that we have the ability to then terminate their permit.
Okay, so that's what we have to find out. We have to do a little research on that. I mean, listen, we can't usurp this, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
We're gonna have to adopt this regardless. So, because they're preeminent. But we certainly can, if we're gonna be asked to change our code to accommodate this, then we have to look at what is the impact on everything else. I don't think we should sit back and just say and do a blanket assumption that this is a carte blanche, because that's not how I read it. It says set to expire, open, close. But if there's some problem that exists in between, I think a municipality should have the power to terminate a permit. I think that's a different scenario, but again, we have to do a little research on that. So I would suggest that we defer this. When does this take effect, by the way? Is it already taken effect?
July 1st.
In Ken and I's neighborhood alone, we have 2 homes that have been into this continuous construction process. And thank you for Michelle and the towns on one occasion, both occasions, gone after these, homeowners, contractors. This is crazy, right? And it affects everyone in the neighborhood. And to go work hard for 2 or 3 weeks, don't touch it for a month, come back and work on it hard for 2 or 3 weeks, very disruptive. And both these houses been on from start of construction to today. These are years, right? More than 3 years, by the way, both those, don't you think, Ken?
Well, the one is five plus years.
5
The
plus
one
years, yeah.
down, a couple doors down.
Yeah.
So, and it's just ridiculous. So I think we have to look at that and see if, because the worst thing we can have are, and I see it happening, they set walls, they tear it down and then stay there for 3 years while they're trying to sell it, they're trying to flip it, they're trying to do something. So we have to be mindful of that.
Yes, very much so. Any other comments on this?
I do
Dave?
agree that length of construction is very disruptive.
Very-
Okay. Then I'll take a look at that issue and see if we have some leeway, what we could do if they're abusing the timeframe.
We might get an AG opinion or something.
Yeah.
And maybe work that angle. Okay.
Great,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, all the discussion action items are completed. Commissioner comments?
None?
None? Okay, good. Thank you for the public being here today and appreciate it. Adjourning the meeting, July 21st, 2026. Thank you. And join us for donuts and coffee. Thank you. Next meeting will have September 15th, 2026, unless we have a special meeting. Will anyone be here in August?
I will not be.
Now that you're saying it's going to be Wednesday, that could be a problem for me.
I will have just gotten back.
Yeah. What's the date again, Kelly? August what again?
19th, it's a Wednesday.
Thank you, everyone.